So, obviously, you were there last night. Tell me a little bit about what happened during the Hall of Fame game at Peabody.
So it was a great atmosphere. I observed a few kids before everything got out of line, using some crazy language. You could kind of feel tension in the air. I had family in town from the Dallas, Texas area, and actually, when the first altercation broke out on the upper level, my brother was like one of the people like right next to where it broke out. So we all kind of got out the way, and I was just basically telling some of the young people I knew to kind of get back, because a lot of those, a lot of young kids in the community, they know me. And I saw a few faces I didn't recognize, wasn't sure if everyone was from this area, but it was just it was a big ruckus. And, I was just trying to get back, make sure I saw what was going on for safety reasons. And you could just feel the tension building after that.
And so, like you said, there was a original incident that happened in the upper level. Just talk a little bit more about what that first incident was.
So the first incident was like, it was an altercation between younger people. I want to say, I'm not 100% for sure, but I want to say it was like some people that like may have not even been from either one of the schools playing, from what I observed. And it basically was just a bunch of talking, and then at some point you could tell where like one of the people involved was fed up, and then they just went to like a physical altercation. And so at that time, it disturbed everything, because it was a great atmosphere, great basketball, both teams playing hard, and it kind of just shifted the focus to what we were there to do, to like safety at that point, or people just wondering like, okay, what is actually going on? The curiosity.
And so, of course, like you said, that was the first incident, but you were in the building when the second people kind of came running in, yelling and screaming. Just talk a little bit about those emotions that were inside the gym at that time.
So for me, just being in the building, I've been in situations to where when people, the way everyone reacted, you could tell that something was witnessed or said that like it was a threat, or some type of safety issue, because everyone broke out running, and it wasn't just a run that you would see like for a fight. So basically, everyone at that point was like, hey, what is going on? Like, I had people texting my phone that saw me on the upper level, like, hey, are you okay? Everybody running, people getting down. And for me, it was more of a like a disappointment at that time, and like trying to figure out what it was, because the way everybody cleared that court, everyone there instantly felt like they were in a situation that wasn't safe. But they responded really well, in my opinion. The response was great to what was going on. They were able to get control of the situation really fast. And then at that point, it just became all of the questions like, why do we have to go out in public and deal with these types of things? Like, why do people not understand that, like, when you go out in these atmospheres, it's people there like 65 and older, like, that's at risk whenever these types of things happen. So at that time, I was just disappointed.
And so I know you kind of touched on it as well. Do you feel that the security was a priority throughout the game last night?
Yes, I do. I feel like it's like when you go see a doctor. If you tell a doctor your back is bad, he's not gonna check your ankles and your elbow. Like, everything was intact, but you can't control what's going on from every single person there, because some people are there to actually watch the game. People are actually sports heads like me. They want to see every single play. And then some people are there and they're engaging in things that have nothing to do with what people are there to do. And so I think it was an isolated thing. Like, I just think young people need to really understand, when they go out in public, it's their responsibility not to put other people in danger with the things they are dealing with on a personal level. Older people always told me it's a time and a place for everything. And when I look around and I see, like Coach Smith, his wife, I saw a few people run to her aid. Like, that really brought tears to my eyes. This lady is in this building supporting her husband and the Peabody organization, which she has done for the last 40 plus years. And then I see people run to her aid, like making sure she's okay. I see older people from the Marksville fan, like people running to their aid, which restores hope that is, it's a good possibility we can do great things as people, but we have to understand that we don't go places and put other people in danger with things that have nothing to do with the events we go to attend.
And so with this being the second incident that Peabody's had at a sporting event this school year, how do you feel the school should move forward with events in the future?
So I feel like each time something happens, it's a learning experience. Like I said, you can do everything right, and people with toxic mindsets can show up. People who don't adhere to authority can show up. People who don't really understand that their behavior is a reflection of their environment in that moment, they can show up. There's nothing you can do. You can prepare all day, do everything right, dot every I, cross every T. But if people who are not being taught by their parents and people who their caregivers that, hey, when you go out, my mom used to tell me, hey, when you go out here, don't you get into nothing. And if you get into something, it better not be your fault. You see what I'm saying? So it's not enough of that going on. I don't think that with what Peabody has experienced in the past that they're walking around with their guards down. I think they prepare for things, and I think they talk about what can we do to be in place to ensure safety. So I don't even think that was the case. I just think it was kids that really don't understand how important it is to conduct themselves a certain way so they don't endanger other people. That's what I think was more of the issue.
And as a community, how do you feel we move forward from this violence that we keep seeing?
I just think as a community, it's time to really put our foot down with moving the way we say we want to move and what we expect. It's time to start displaying that. It's enough of the people. I see people on, like, just for example, I see people on the internet joking about what happened. And I personally know that a 77-year-old lady that was in that building last night needed aid to ensure her safety, and people was trying to make sure she was okay. Someone stepped on my wife's ankle, and she couldn't walk, and people came to help us and make sure my wife was okay. So I want people to understand that as a community, we have to stop entertaining and showing up to the party when it's something negative. We need to make people feel like when you do bad things, you don't get my attention. And what's happening in the community now is when you see positive things, when you hear positive things, people turn a blind eye to that. So if we want this community to be better, if we really want this world to be a better place, we need to show up when it's time to support something positive. We need to stop entertaining comments that can't be proved on social media. We need to stop allegations and saying things happen that we have no clue of. Nobody is fact checking anything. Social media is becoming a place where you can say whatever you want to say, and it don't even have to be true. And then once people get that information, they run with that information, and now we fueling a fire that's not a real fire. The real issue is the behavior of young people. The real issue is parents not taking accountability. The real issue is people turning a blind eye to what needs to happen to make this community a better place by actually putting in physical work and not just talking. That's more of the issue. And if we want this community to have hope, we need to lead by example. We need more people. Good people need to stand up. Bad guys are literally taking over. Good people need to stand up. We need to take our community back. We need to take this state back, take the world back. It's too many good people standing down because they don't want to be humiliated. They don't want to get involved. They don't want to be a part of the narrative. Well, I'm telling good people right now, as a leader, as someone who care about this community, it's time for good people to speak up. It's time for good people to stand up. And it's time for us to flush out this bad stuff. Stop entertaining it. If you water something, it's going to grow. And I feel like a lot of negative things draw the attention of people more than positivity.
And so I know you kind of touched on it as well. Why do you feel like these disruptions keep happening?
So I'm going to be honest with you. I work a lot with young people, and young people are seeking attention. I know for a fact a kid making the A honor roll does not get nearly the attention as a kid caught with a gun. If you get on social media and you watch what people entertain, you watch what people engage in, you watch the thing that gets people attention. Well, I have kids who reach out to me in my inbox and they say, hey, I'm having thoughts. I'm being bullied. I'm having suicidal thoughts. Difference maker. I need help. I need to talk to you. And then I talk to them and they tell me that nobody pays attention. So a lot of these kids are acting out for attention. And the fastest way for them to get the attention of some of us is with things that they know are not things they should be doing. And that's a sad truth, but it's the truth. So what I want people to understand about young people is it's going to keep reoccurring until we show young people that, you know, this ain't it. You know, this not like, you're not going to get my support. Kids now run home to parents and the parent becomes upset with the situation instead of checking their child on what was your involvement. What did you contribute to? How much of the trouble? Are you a suspect or are you a victim? That's the questions not being asked. Every young person is not a victim. Your child can go to an event and be the problem. And we need to acknowledge that so we can address that. People need to know young people are smarter than we think they are. So if a young person is seeking attention, what are they going to do for attention if that's what it takes to get attention? You know, so it's kind of frustrating.
And so what do you feel like the community is saying about the events that keep happening, and how do you feel like they feel?
So based on what I'm hearing from the community, one thing I personally don't care about is people saying that, like, a lot of people, and people are making jokes about this stuff. A man of my character, I don't find anything about this funny. I want to publicly say that. I think that people is trying to make this a location thing. It's not a location thing. You can get on the internet and see how many fights took place at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas for the high school state championship. They had so many fights, they almost had to shut the state championship down. So this is not a Jones Street, a Jones Avenue thing, a Peabody thing, a Alexandria thing. It's a problem around the world with people not telling their kids, I'm responsible for the way you conduct yourself when you're out in public. That's more of the issue. That game last night could have been at Menard. If you take people to Menard who have issues and they want to see someone in public and they say, when I see this person, I want to fight this person. When I see this person, I want to put my hands on this person. It doesn't matter where the event is hosted at. You're going to have issues. It's the mindset of people that's causing the problems. It's not the location. You can pick an event. You can pick a location for an event anywhere you want to in the world right now. And if the wrong people show up with the wrong mindset, you will get the wrong outcome.
And then is there anything else that you want to add that we didn't necessarily talk about?
I just basically want people to know that someone getting shot or gun violence is not the only thing that compromises people's safety. Last night, I watched little kids. I watched older people. I watched everybody struggle to cover for safety. It's more ways people can be injured in these types of situations than just gunfire. So we, like the joking on the internet about how many shots was fired or what might have happened, all the allegations, all the things that has not been proven. It's nothing funny about it. It's other ways people can be injured. Like I say, I watched several older people, have to, like, I watched people run to the aid of several elderly people. And like I say, I literally had tears in my eyes because I was like, this lady, one lady that I knew personally, 77 years old, you think this lady thought she would grow and become that old to go to a game, all to, have her safety compromised? It's a sad thing when you think about it in that context. So for me, I want people to understand that gun violence is most of the times a place that trouble will reach, but it's not the only thing we should be ashamed of. Any type of behavior or conduct that compromises the safety of people, that's not a reflection. I know Miss Ford personally, the principal of Peabody Magna High. I've never seen a person with more integrity than her. I know for a fact this is not something she's proud of. So to just get on the internet and make this about, something personal, or try to make a joke or a mockery about the situation because of where it took place or who was involved, I really think that's childish. And if we want this community to do better and want kids to have hope, us as adults, we need to set better examples, because really I'm ashamed of the adults right now myself.
Anything else?
That's it.